Hello there. When it comes to Nicolas Cage, what people think of him can usually be categorized into two distinct sections. He's one of the most talented actors of his generation that always makes interesting decisions and isn't afraid to take risks that do occasionally backfire, but nonetheless demonstrates his passion for the art of acting. Or he's a terrible actor who's highly overrated and sometimes gets lucky. The first one. I don't care how many bad movies Nicolas Cage finds himself in. He is a great actor that, yes, does appear in a lot of bad movies, but when he gets it right, he gets it right and reminds everybody, holy shit, I just remembered why I like this guy so much. Case in point, Mandy. Holy shit, this movie is really something. This is a movie that you don't see made very often anymore, and it's evident from the very first frame. Now, the story that it tells is actually rather standard. A man has a wife, they're in love, they run into some cultists, the cultists do something terrible, and Nicolas Cage goes on a roaring rampage of revenge. Like I said, a standard storyline, but like any other story, if it's done well, that's what matters. The movie was directed by Panos Cosmatos, and his directing style is one that you will notice. His use of color, his odd pacing, intercutting with what were probably animated dream sequences. It's a movie made in a way that's truly unusual, something that you haven't seen for a while and won't see again for another while. It's hard to categorize this movie into a genre. IMDb lists it as action, fantasy, and horror. I don't think that any of these are accurate. The movie does have some pretty kick-ass fight scenes, but it seems wrong to call it action. It takes a good long while to get any kind of action. The start of this movie is actually pretty slow, which might turn some people off. Fantasy? No, the only inkling of fantasy is the rhetoric spoken by the cultists, and it's pretty clear that they're delusional, save for some demonic bikers that are probably just drug addicts. Horror feels the closest to being right. The whole movie is shot rather like a nightmare, but it maintains peaks and valleys with some scenes that are really nightmarish and horrifying. Still, the movie isn't really scary. It may be rather, well, actually quite unnerving, but not in the way that a typical horror movie is. No, Mandy is very unique. Like I said, the movie has a slow start, but when it gets going, man does it get going. Body burnings, chainsaws, drugs, beheadings, face crushings, blood, more blood, and one tiger that's just there for, I guess, just the weirdness of having a tiger for some reason. Nicolas Cage is great in this movie, delivering a performance that's actually really light on words, but works. It's all physical, but not to say that he doesn't emote either. He has a really good emotional breakdown scene. Mandy takes a while to get going, but once it does, it's truly something. It's not for everyone though, but I recommend it.